What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're checking out the MedicBox Pro Box 1, brand new subscription on the channel, available in 2 tiers. Your standard tier is $55 a month, or you can opt for the Pro, which is what we're looking at today, for $100 a month. Now, no matter which tier you go with, they do offer the optional option to enroll in monthly online courses, which I think is actually a really cool thing because they're going to be situational courses, but also there's items in here that I don't actually know how to use, and so really would be pointless to carry them if you don't know how to use them. So good opportunity to not only add those items to your first aid kit, but learn when to use them and how to use them, which is great. And so MedicBox is actually a partnership between some existing subscription services, the biggest of which that you probably recognize is BattleBox, but also ShieldBox and BurnBox. And I was really intrigued with this box for a couple reasons. The first being that first aid is just such an underrepresented portion of the EDC hobby, and that includes my channel. I buy EDC items, I hardly ever make videos on them, and so good opportunity to just get those items in front of the camera, check them out, and give a little bit of exposure to the types of gear that maybe you should carry on you if you're carrying something that might cut you or cause other types of injuries. And so the other thing that was really intriguing to me was that a lot of these subscriptions, BattleBox included, have a monthly theme, and that monthly theme, it just kind of starts whenever you sign up, and so you get the theme that is with the month that you signed up with, miss out on everything prior. The MedicBox is actually sequential, and so whenever you sign up, whatever month it is, you're going to get box 1 first. And over the course of a year, you get 12 boxes that builds out 4 distinct and fully stocked first aid kits over 3 months at a time. So the first 3 months are focused on duty first aid kits, which didn't do a ton of research. I know what's in this box already, but didn't do a ton of research on what that means. I would imagine that's going to be for your more traumatic type injuries, a little bit more comprehensive. Next 3 months focus on vehicle first aid kits, which is self-explanatory, followed by EDC individual first aid kits, which I'd imagine compact, carryable, kind of your more minor day-to-day type injuries. And then last 3 months focuses on the home kit, which is probably more robust, maybe fills in some of the gaps that the previous 3 kits didn't address and doesn't have the same space constraints as either any of those 3 kits. So when Jared reached out to me over at MedicBox, he asked if I wanted to join the affiliate program. I didn't really think it made sense just because I hadn't checked out the box. I'm not really familiar with their other boxes either outside of seeing YouTube videos on it. And I really didn't have the funds to add another subscription to my channel at the moment. And so I let him know all of that, and we had a great conversation. He thought it fit the niche of the channel very well, and so he went ahead and offered to send this first one over for free. So excited to check it out, really appreciative of them for that. He also sent over the online courses that correspond with this month. So once you've watched what's in it, let me know down in the comments if this is a subscription you'd like to see continue on the channel going forward. But let's go ahead and dive in. As usual, I already have most of the things unpackaged, so you don't have to watch me fiddling around with the packaging. The exception being that being a first aid box, some of these items are sterile and you don't want to unpackage them until it's time to use them. So those are still, of course, in their packaging. But let's go ahead and check it out. And again, this is going to be box 1 of the Pro subscription. Right up top, we have our content list. No pricing on this, so you kind of have to do the pricing yourself if you want to determine the overall value of this box. We will reference back to this as we take a look at each item, and then we'll flip over to the back for the Pro and the monthly course information. So up first is item number 1 and item number 5 actually. So the duty individual first aid kit pouch, I threw on the MedicBox PVC patch. Not sure if they're adding value to this or not, but I definitely don't mind seeing it in the box, because with a first aid kit, you want some sort of patch or some sort of identifier to tell people that it's a first aid kit. It may be you that is needing the first aid, and so if you tell someone, you know, the black pouch in my bag, you may have multiple black pouches, so good to have something to identify there. So that's both item number 1 and 5. You can see generous amount of hook and loop on the front side of this pouch. You have some elastic straps for a cat tourniquet, some MOLLE webbing attachment straps, as well as MOLLE webbing right behind that, so you can add this to the exterior or interior of your bag, and clamshell style opening. Didn't take a look if those are YKK or not, but this is a proprietary pouch, so it is branded under MedicBox. and it's actually specifically made to fit the items that are coming in this box, which is kind of cool. So you have varying widths of elastic loops, the MedicBox tag there. You have these pass-through pockets on either side, again different widths of elastic loops, another loop over here for, it seems like what's probably a very specific item. You have a grommet in the back to allow water or other liquid to drain from there, and then one hidden pocket back here behind that MOLLE webbing. And so kind of a cool looking pouch. You're not going to be able to look this up online and find a value for it, so you just kind of have to assign your own in terms of that. But this says that the MedicBox pouch was specifically designed to hold the components that you will be receiving in the first 3 months of your membership. So not just the items in this box, but all 3 months. The pouch is lightweight and durable, has a belt loop and MOLLE attachment systems. The bottom of the pouch features straps specifically designed to hold a cat tourniquet, hint, hint. And so there is no cat tourniquet in this box, so they were obviously alluding to box 2 or box 3. So looking forward to that for sure. Moving into item number 2, we have this emergency bandage 4-inch by Rampart Systems. This is an Israeli bandage, something that I already have a few of in my first aid kit, but these do expire, and that's one thing that I was really keeping an eye on for when this box came in. I've ordered first aid supplies online that were already expired or just a few months from expiring and had to return them or exchange them, and so wanted to see if these were labeled with an expiration date and when they were expiring, and happy to report that these were very recently manufactured. You have your lot number, I believe an NDC number there as well. The manufacturing date, which was just September 1st of 2023 on this one. This one doesn't expire till September 1st of 2031. So we still have 7 years on that. So going to be a long time before you need to rotate these out, which I'm really happy to see. You also have some basic instructions on here, and rather than try and explain what an Israeli bandage is, I'm just going to read it directly from our content packing list. So an Israeli bandage that provides everything needed to address small to medium wounds and amputations in one compact package. This versatile bandage features a pressure bar and is an effective tool to treat severe bleeding. And again, this is already vacuum sealed up, so going to be a sterile item, and you don't want to open that until it's time to use it. So next up, item number 3 are these vented chest seals, and this is something I don't already have in my first aid kit. The reason being is I have no idea how to actually use them, and so that's where those courses come into play. I think it's cool to be able to add it to your kit and then learn when to use them and how to use the items. And so this is from North American Rescue. This is the brand that I recognize when I think of chest seals, that high fin vent. Not sure if there's a lot of brands out there making it, but this is definitely the one I recognize. And so you have a side for your entry wound and another side for your exit wound, individually sealed separately. And so these are 2 vented chest seals in compact packaging, designed for the prevention, management, and treatment of an open and or tension pneumothorax potentially caused by penetrating chest trauma. So this is for injuries where you're fully penetrated, you have an entry and an exit wound in your chest, to seal those up until first aid can arrive, or you can get someone to first aid. So last up in our standard box, this is actually item number 4 of 5, but since number 5 was already shown, that MedicBox patch, this is going to be the last one in our standard box, and this is the Newstat 4x4 Hemostatic dressing, and this has an agent in it to help promote blood clotting and stop you from bleeding. It's a really important thing to have because a lot of minor injuries, if not treated in time, can become fatal if you cannot control the bleeding. And so these are a great item. This is a brand, I have something similar but not from this brand, so excited to add this one. And again, just like the other 2, we have expirations. This one in 2029. The chest seal, which I didn't show, has an expiration in 2029 as well. So definitely have some time before these need to be rotated out. So for the hemostatic gauze, it says dual fiber technology controls bleeding through absorption at the injury site, which results in physical aggregation of blood cells and clotting factors. So yeah, exactly like quick clot or anything like that as well. So great to see those in there. Now, not a lot of individual items, but these are items that if you're adding them to your first aid kit, each one by themselves is going to be one of the pricier components of your first aid kit, but obviously they're invaluable if you ever end up needing them. So let's take a look at the card. We'll flip over to the back in a moment, but again, no pricing on here. You can kind of see how those items fit into the pouch that's included. So they give you a diagram to show where to slot each of those items in. You also have this cool section on the bottom where you can track your MedicBox journey. So we're obviously on box 1, so we're all the way to the left, but it shows you kind of what to expect going forward and what's coming next. So next month we're getting an essential piece of COTCCC recommended equipment and more components for your individual first aid kit. And so I don't know what that acronym means. I know this is a duty kit, the first one, so maybe if you are in that specific industry, you know what that is. I do not know what that stands for, so that clue really doesn't give me anything, but it's still kind of cool to see where you are in the journey, especially if you lose track over time. It's labeled up there in the corner as well. Over on the back side, we have our pro item as well as information about the course. So since the course obviously isn't in here, we'll take a look at that. So this month is focused on tactical trauma care basic, and they partnered with CTOMS Academy. These aren't courses that are specific to MedicBox Academy, which I think is even better because these are very specialized courses that are already being sold separately. And so this trauma care provides casualty approach, walks a student through an optimized, coherent casualty assessment and treatment algorithm for non-medical professionals. Course covers a basic provider level casualty approach in the context of a tactical environment. TTC is a tactical combat casualty care based approach using MARCH acronym as an aid in memory with a deeper dive into the details. And then it tells you what's coming next, which is understanding trauma, gain a foundational understanding of the body's physiology when inflicted with trauma. And then it has our pro item, which is the SOG para shears. And again, took this out of the packaging. These actually come in a really big package. And these are pretty cool. It's a multi-tool pair of shears similar to the Leatherman Raptor. I don't have either of those yet, so I'm excited to get one of these in the collection, check it out a little bit more thoroughly. And the SOG difference between this and the Leatherman is this one's more of a full multi-tool with shears, whereas the Leatherman is really just focused on the shear aspect. There's pros and cons to both of those, but this one does have a few more extra functionalities. And so we get this nylon belt sheath that does have a strap to attach it to your belt or to your pack. It's Velcro sealed, has SOG sewn in there, and a little opening at the bottom for drainage. You can see it folds up nice and compact. Let's actually open it first, and then we'll take a look at the items in this folded segment, because I think the star of the show is definitely going to be those shears. It does turn into a full pair of shears. Really comfortable. I'd say the thumb portion is a little bit wide, but it doesn't really make it uncomfortable. It just feels a little bit wide. It's worth noting. The shears themselves have a ruler on there, an inch and a centimeter ruler. Not 100% sure that that's going to get a lot of use in that positioning, but nice extra functionality there. Important part of the shears is that there is no sharp point, so you can use this to cut through pants, jackets, belts, whatever the case may be, without worrying about cutting the skin underneath. And so, nice pair of shears. I like the red color, obviously. Nice first aid colorway there. And let's get it folded back up. You can see the reason that's a little bit wider is to allow you to fold it over the other portion of the handle. In this closed position, we see all of those other tools, starting with the oxygen wrench here on the end. We have a bunch of tools here in the handle that you can push out with this lock, but also have a nail nick. We have a glass breaker over here, which actually folds into the handle. Really appreciate that because I never use glass breakers anyway. And so it's out of the way, not poking you at all the times. And so you can just tuck that away and use it when you need it, which is nice. We have our rescue hook or our strap cutter here, which is great. That does lock into place, so the only locking tool on here, I believe. Actually, the other ones might lock too. I think it might be if you have multiple tools open, it unlocks them. And so far, I've only opened it with multiple tools since I just got that in. But it does have a liner lock on here that allows you to keep that deployed. We have a pair of tweezers over here, and those look to be pretty nice. They come to a nice closed tip, so those should work pretty effectively. They're not removable, they just fold into the handle, but that is a nice addition on something like this. Then over on the other side, we have some other tools. Some of these are a little bit more questionable for a pair of shear multi-tools, but handy in a general multi-tool. So starting first with the first one over here, that is going to be our flathead screwdriver and our bottle opener. It's pretty funny to see a bottle opener, and yeah, that does lock into place. You can use the lock to unlock it, or the other tools. If you just partially open one, it will unlock it. But pretty funny to see a bottle opener on here, because when are you going to be using these as shears and then say, hey, I want to pop open my drink? So just kind of a funny addition, and just adds to that joke of every multi-tool needing a bottle opener, I think. Next up, we have our rope cutter here. It's got that kind of hook shape with the saw teeth on there, and again, that does unlock the other tools if you have more than one of those open at a time. Flipping over to the opposite side, we have our 3D Phillips screwdriver. So it is a flat Phillips screwdriver, as you can see. And last but not least, we have an awl, and this is a nice sharp pointy awl. Really kind of useful tools, but not necessarily something you may need in here. The one downside I'd say to having these tools on here is that with shears, they might be getting a little bit dirty and grimy, maybe even a little bit bloody. And so you do have to clean those as well, having the extra tools. But it is nice having a little bit of added functionality, so you don't have to carry a separate multi-tool as well. Now, I don't know how the Pro items are going to fit into the pouch. It wasn't shown on the diagram how those fit in there. And so I'm not sure if those are meant to fit in there, or if that's really just focused on the standard items. This does obviously come with that nylon sheath, and so you can carry this separately anyway. But let's finish this off by just reading what it says, and then we'll talk about the items in the box here. So, focus multi-tool designed specifically for first responders. Pair of shears come complete with a mission-specific tool set that features 11 components, including shears, strap cutter, glass breaker, oxygen wrench, and tweezers. With SOG's proprietary compound leverage technology, pair shears are able to cut material easier than equivalent shears. Capable and reliable, the pair shears are a multi-tool designed for rapid, precise work under the most stressful conditions. And then it has information if you want to upgrade to Pro. If you just got the standard box, everyone's getting the same content list. So overall, I think this was a really solid first box. I think it's a great concept. Value-wise, it's hard to say because this is proprietary, so you just have to assign your own value. The other items I probably could add up, but I think it's worthwhile that they're curating this for you. You're building out a kit that you would otherwise have to kind of source all of the components separately. And my guess is that you come out ahead on the standard box. I'm positive that you come out ahead on the Pro box this month, because these shears on their own I think are about $60, and they're only adding I think $45 to the cost for the Pro box, and so that does help with the overall value. And I think the items are really solid. There's brands that I recognize in here. Don't have any familiarity with the SOG pair of shears or that Leatherman Raptor to say which one is better or how they compare to regular shears, but I'm very excited to check them out, and I think it's a cool addition in a box like this. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or joining the channel as a member. I will link to this down in the description, and hopefully the affiliate link is active, so if you do decide to purchase this, no pressure of course, but it will help the channel out a little bit at no additional cost to you. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great one. Take care.